Hey guys, what's up? Happy Sunday. I've been thinking about some stuff here. Of course, every single day you get a new message, text, DM, call, or hearing from somebody physically. And, I had a question that kept on pressing in my head. And, it's actually a question that has been on my head for quite some time now. When I started coaching, I used to always look at all the other coaches, right? And I'm like, man, why don't these coaches like care about their students, Or I mean, even if you're just a teacher, like why don't you care as much about your students, like what they're doing, how's their mindset, how are things with them, how are things going with them at home, and how are things going with them, mentally. And some people might say, well, that's prying, like that's their personal life. You don't need to be worrying about that. And I always used to say, well, I mean, I'm a human being, they're a human being, and if I'm coaching them in whatever aspect of their life, whether it is martial arts, whether it is in their profession, in their mindset, or if I'm mentoring them, or if I'm teaching them something on a computer, I mean, I am relating to them regardless. So I personally want to care for this person, because it doesn't matter if I'm teaching somebody how to do a certain move or teaching them how to advance in their profession, their career, if they're not able to receive it. The same is analogous with, for example, when you're taking vitamins and minerals, right? You've been eating filth and garbage and impure foods, and you're so full of toxins, and maybe you've been smoking and drinking and doing all, God knows what to your body. And then you decide one day, well, I'm going to take some nutrition. You take vitamins and minerals, and while the act of taking vitamins and minerals, might seem noble and good, and it's better than nothing, right? It's actually not doing anything to your system, because your system has more toxicity, more filth, more garbage, more tar than these vitamins and minerals could even help support. Because first of all, these nutrients have to get assimilated right into your bloodstream and in through your digestive system, and then ultimately go to the organs that they need to go to in order for your hormones to regulate it, and then voila, the nutrients actually help you. But if you're so full of all of this other garbage that you've had in your life, well, these nutrients, to be honest with you, are not going to do anything. I mean, if anything, a tiny fraction of what's supposed to get assimilated into your body for actual help will make it, and won't really have any justice at all into how it affects your body. So the same is true with the person as a whole, right? So you've been living a horrible life, you've been going through all of these battles, you have a lot of downs in your life, you have a lot of negative people around you, you're so full of toxins. I mean, you can't go to work because this problem, you can't talk to the person you're in relationship because of this problem. You have your own, inadequacies, your own self, reflected doubts. You have, and all of these things. And then when positivity tries to enter your life, this amount, just like the vitamins, will actually enter your heart space or your mind space. So a good coach wants to make sure that they're taking care of their students in a way that it's holistic, and that everything is everything. And so that the mindset is set with the physicalities, with the biology, the chemistry of your body, and that the things that you do and the things that you say kind of equal out and balance and match, all the things that you would like to have permeated in the rest of your multifaceted life. So back to the beginning, I used to think, well, why do these coaches seem so cold? Why do they seem so callous? Like, they don't care beyond the student coming into the school and leaving the school. That's not their responsibility outside of the school. And I always said, well, like a person to person, a relationship is a relationship. And so when you relate with somebody that you care about them as a whole. And I did that for many years. And really, to be honest with you, I've netted out at the end of the day that you literally, you could care for people, you can love people, but you can't care and love for them more than they care and love themselves. I mean, it's just a reality. You can keep on praying for them. You can keep on loving them. You can keep on caring for them to the extent that they would in turn for themselves. Because, aside from praying, which is free and easy, and it's something that you can do with or without their consent, aside from praying, really, a person is going to gravitate towards the things that they want, bottom line. And so they may have been fortunate, or you have maybe been fortunate enough that you both met each other and that you're both in each other's lives with hopes to help support and balance each other out. Now, a coach is not impervious to any of life's realities as well, but a coach tries at the very least to not spew that negativity or spill that negativity onto their students or the disciples, because we care about them. And of course, I care about myself a lot, that I want to make sure that when my cup is overflowing, that it gets poured into the people that I care about. And looking at all of these other coaches, I used to say, man, it just feels wrong. It feels callous. But I've come to the realization, it's not that they're cold and it's not that they're callous. They've actually been through what I've been through. They've been there, done that. I mean, no coach wants to not care about the people that are under their tutelage. It's more of they see, or they have seen, that these people don't care. There's nothing worse for a coach than to see somebody start at the letter A and go to the letter Z within the time frame that you've been through, and see them grow and blossom and learn the whole alphabet, and then take from the alphabet the letters that would eventually form words, and then these words that would eventually form sentences and will eventually form the paragraphs and the life story that they're telling. And while it doesn't have to literally mean that they're writing these words of their story, but that it's depicted in the way that they comport themselves and carry themselves in life, and that it's evident in what they do. But there's nothing worse, than a coach to see a student go through A to Z sentences, paragraphs, and then go back from Z to A, and kind of a full degradation of everything that they've learned up until that point. And to me, I guess that's one of the saddest things to see, is to see a student or students who, came to you, broken, or came to you with a need, or came to you with a void to fill. And then the void was filled, the need was met, and only to resort back to the person that they started out. I mean, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And it hurts me to the core as a coach. But back to my main premise, which I started this whole conversation, you can only do so much for a person. You are not living their lives. You might try to live vicariously with the prospects and hopes of being a positive force in their life, and that's the best that you can get. But at the end of the day, it's their life, and they're going to choose what motivates them the best. And if what motivates them the best is so evident in their life that they need to go back to a time where they started the journey going forward, it's a sad thing, but it is their choice. And so at the end of the day, I would say to all of you coaches out there who are hearing my voice, you know, if you're starting where I started as a coach, and you have so much love and care and affection. I mean, you've cried with these people, you've laughed with these people, you've had dinner with these people, you shared personal stories with these people. You know, I feel you, but if I were to give you a word of advice, it's you can't care for anybody more than they care for themselves. And if you do, and if you try, and if you do love and care for them, it'll only start sucking the life out of you because of how much, you know, care you have for them. And the truth of the matter is, and it's so cliche and it sounds so dumb, but it's so true, is that if you love something or if you love somebody, you have to let them go. And they would have to fall, unfortunately, back into their own devices and see, hopefully, that in that decline back to the letter A, that, man, they went so far, how could they go back so low? And the vices that they have or had that once purified and cleansed their heart, their mind, their body, their spirit, that propelled them on a journey and a trajectory of fruitfulness, that they would see from a different vantage point how high they went and how low they're bringing themselves. And hopefully that'll be all they need, where they can pick up again and salvage what they had. And then for those of you guys who have coaches or who have been coached, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean in the actual fighting sense or the arena of fighting at all. This could be coaches, mentors, and dare I say, even parents. You know, look at it from our perspective also, okay? We're gonna pour into you. We're gonna give you everything that we could within our power. But if you fail you, you fail you. Yes, it is extremely disappointing to see someone devolve, but it is your choice. And so any hardships that you go through, just know that we'll continue to pray for you, and we'll continue to be there for you if and when the time comes that you realize where you are in your life and how low you've gotten. So at the end of the day, this is not because a coach's life, just like a parent, is a life of servitude, selflessness, and it's a life that really most people don't want, because, you know, we have our own problems and there's so many things that we have to think and do in our own lives, let alone pour into so many other people's lives. It does become depleting, and it'll be self-defeating for, I know for myself, speaking for myself, to be drained and depleted because I'm pouring into a cup that has two holes. The hole that I pour into and the hole in the bottom that it comes out of, it does become depleting. So at the end of the day, guys, whether you're a coach or whether you're someone that's being coached, you know, at the end of the day, you are responsible for you. And just know that a real coach will hurt, will feel the pain of what you're going through. But at the same time, a real coach will be real enough to say, like, was this something that was self-imposed? And was it worth you going all the way back down the alphabet to the letter A in order for you to learn some sort of lesson in life? But anyway, guys, this is all I have. I do want you to really keep this in mind and think about the severity of it, and how it not only affects you, but it affects the people around you. And if this is what you truly want, then I made my first book called The Superpower of Decisions. You are exactly where you need to be today because you, quite frankly, chose it. And that, again, that includes even my own life. And so I stand by those words. And just make sure that you have ownership to yourself, and that you continue to be positive in knowing that no matter how low you may go because of your choices and your decisions, there is always a way to get back to the trajectory of going upward. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. Any questions, comments, and all that other stuff, you already know, you can DM me, all right? And if this message has touched somebody, or you're thinking of somebody, you know, there's such a thing as liking and sharing. It is a thing, believe it or not. By all means, please do that, all right?